Okay, time again. You know for what? For me talking out loud while driving. Yeah, I drive a lot. But the point is I'm driving a lot, around 1 hour at a time, and I'm doing that shit alone. So, way! So, today I'm going to pay my dues and talk about Mario. But the main difference I'm going to do is the fact that this is not inspired at all from Mario Maker because I don't have that game. I have to sterilize my dogs this month, and I had to pay for that. So, yeah, no games for now. I think I'm going to buy it eventually. So, what we're going to talk today is the fact that I have read a post in Tumblr again about how a person believed that the Mario Brothers are like the kindest persons in the world, and someone told down below the thing that where did you get that? And I'm here like, well, you haven't seen it. And some people start to point out that there's no too many art of the Mario Brothers not looking dead, which is kind of weird for me. I personally don't like the art direction from New Super Mario Bros. In general. I don't like that. I don't know what it is. It feels extremely plastic. And I think in a way that's the idea, because Mario's not really Okay, the idea behind Mario is the fact that it's like old cartoons in which all the characters are just have established personalities, and you can put them. They always do the same role, but you can put them always in different stories. The difference between Mario and an actual character with us that is the fact that they do mostly that with different kind of mechanics. So we have always the same world, but we traverse them using different mechanics. They always point out that we have a DDR version of Mario, and then sometimes I want to play that thing because it sounds so weird. Because everybody point out that thing is extremely weird, and I'm here. No. Okay, so Mario was at the beginning the character that Miyamoto used for almost all his games, because he didn't want to create too many characters for little things. So they put Mario. They couldn't put anything until they did Super Mario Bros., which is the one we're celebrating this 30th anniversary this year, and that one was the one which cemented most, not of Mario's character, but most of his supporting ones. Of course, there have been some development, but yeah. Camelot is the one who had put more thought into creating characters that fit the Mario world, even if just by creating Waluigi and Resurrection Princess Daisy. They tried to put some generic anime-looking characters from the Mario Golf, which I actually like, but I'm completely sure I'm the only person in the universe who like generic anime characters in their games. I don't know. Yeah. So the last character that actually worked, they add to the Mario universe, was Rosalina. And it was mostly because they add a new layer of story for that. She wasn't the princess of another world, she was practically God. She's basically God of the Mario world, which is actually super cool. But then after that, I don't know specifically, but I really don't like the how the new Super Mario Bros. Art is. And most of and since those are being one of the most popular series for Mario during the last time, a lot of people just see that and say, wow, this is just a generic thing, which is fine. It's a good. It's actually the same thing I think, but asking yourself, hey, why you see that? Why you see something I don't see? I found that extremely self-centered in a way. I just don't like it. I just don't like that. I just don't like that. Especially because some people start to think, hey, Mario is a flat character. And I'm like, no, he's not. But it's very difficult to explain someone is when someone is not a flat character, when all his characteristics can be discussed in positive terms. And this is the problem I do have with a lot of people trying to describe characters. The things that you relate most with other characters are usually not your positive things, but your bad things, your negative things. Which, thanks God, is not something that actually happens to me. I don't know why. Is it the first character I relate a lot in my life was Jimmy Neutron, because he was being himself during a situation which I had around that time, which was being bullied. Of course, he sometimes deserved to be ridiculized for how shitty he was. Like, usually he always loses during that times. But in general, I love Jimmy because he was himself, unapologetically himself, despite that everybody wanting him to apologize for being himself. So I don't know if because of my condition, but I relate more with people having the same struggle than me, than having the negative things about me. It's not a thing that I want to believe that there is no way that nobody can have the negative things on me, but I don't want to think myself in negative terms. So when absolutely everybody else do that, I feel uncomfortable. I want to think in my positive things because I realize that I don't do that, nobody else will do. So I like to do that, but I'm not very good at it. And that's the reason why I identify a lot with Wander too. Especially because he's a karmic trickster, but at the same time he's a flawed karmic trickster. And that's the reason why I like it a lot, the Looney Tunes show, despite nobody else liking it for some weird reason. It was a good series, seriously. It have some downsides, but every series has its downside. The point that they show a moment in which Bugs wasn't a setup for Bugs Bunny to be a karmic trickster, and trying to figure out how to navigate a world without knowing exactly what to do, and people hated that for some reason. This is not Bugs Bunny, and I'm like, why he's not going to be Bugs Bunny? The guy just wants to live a life, a perfectly normal life, and somebody appears and he has to defend himself. That's everything he does. In fact, that was a rule Chuck Jones had. Bugs Bunny always has to defend himself. He karmic tricked the persona cannot be for damage people on purpose. it has to be at least for karmic justice. So I like more this, but the point of Mario, which is not a character I identify too much, is the fact that he doesn't have too much of a characterization. But most of the characters in the Mario series do not have so much characterization. And before you tell me that we do have, he's a coward, he's insecure, and he's pretty much best jumper and has a better mustache than Mario, but he's a bit less famous. And the problem I have with Luigi is the fact that this definition cannot work if we don't have Mario there. So most of the characters usually work around being different from Mario or being different from Peach, which are so. Daisy is a tomboy, but it's a tomboy in Japanese terms. So you doesn't find a tomboy, it's okay. In Japanese terms, she's very tomboyish. But the problem is that the very ultra feminine Peach is the only thing she has is the fact she's a she. Yeah. And this is also very Japanese thing, because Peach is in fact the fruit for girls. So in a very coded way, Peach is called girl. Yeah. But then again, she's just the girl version of Mario, which she has to be rescued every single time. But the problem with say every single time she has to be rescued is the fact that Miyamoto doesn't make any characterization for its characters. So you doesn't need any. He doesn't make any story, because if you do any story, you have to at least do characterization for your characters. And this is mostly because Miyamoto is not a storyteller from I can see. It's mostly because Miyamoto is a GUI developer. A GUI, user interface, graphical user interface. So the problem when you have a game and you need the problem when you have a program is the fact that the user has to know what to do. And you have a narrative game, which is about traversing places, but you need to know why you're going to traverse places. So in the Mario game, you go and save someone. That's it. And the reason that saving someone has persisted so much for all the time is because it's a very specific story, a very a story that you already know, so you know why are you traversing all these places. And this is super important in graphical user interface theory, because if the user doesn't know what to do, he's going to get lost. So the Mario games have that set in stone because they have been perfectly in stone. And yes, I completely agree on whatever women versus tropes about the damsel in distress. I completely agree about it, and I really hope that the next time we have to save a group of something, not all of them being identified as girls. Why I'm completely sure that one of the princess was actually a he. I don't know why you have that impression. But the reason is because you value human life, so you immediately know that kidnap is very important, and is immediately a high stakes proposition. It's very easy to understand what to do, and it's very easy to keep it as a law It's a long time, your final struggle. So you need to know what to do. You need to know what the end of what you have to do, and you need to know how you go to your arcs. And this is something extremely funny. Despite that the Mario games aren't an explicitly narrative experience, they are a narrative experience in the sense that every stage tells a story. And there's some analysis about the stages in Super Mario. If you go to the video games toolkit, video game developer toolkit, I don't know, it's the channel of Mark Brown. I'm going to put a link in the description. If you go there, you're going to find at least there's 2 videos about the analysis of random stages in Mario games. There's one of the 4 steps in the development of Super Mario 3D World, and one called Mastering Mario Maker. All the stages in Mario follow this structure, the following idea. They introduce a concept, they develop the concept, then they decided to give you a variation, and then after that they put you in the shoes of the variation. They turn that thing over their head, and then they give you a finish. So in a way, they are very narrative games. They are very linear, so they are very narrative. You know what you have to do, therefore you doesn't feel shit when something happens, and you go organically understanding how to do things. The point is that you are the one telling the story and living the story. Meanwhile, Mario is your avatar. That's why he doesn't speak, and that's why he has minimal characterization. But saying that Mario do not have characterization is actually very misleading. Because do not speak, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have it. And while the Mario platforming games do not give him too many times to express the main core characteristic of Mario, there's something that Miyamoto has said a couple of times, that what is actually what defines Mario, and I don't think anyone had paid attention on that. What defines Mario is not that he's happy, it's not that he rescued princesses, it's because he worked hard. Seriously. He worked hard, and he's not really that smart. He knows what he can do, and he used that thing specifically. Yeah, he's super strong, is admitted, but everybody in his world is super strong. Yeah, he can jump high, but we can jump higher, and Peach can float, and Rosalina also can jump higher. Yes, he's fast, but Toad is faster than him, and I'm not really considering, and I'm really not saying that he's faster than that doesn't count. So when you do, I don't know, I saw the death battle between Sonic and Mario, and that thing, I'm not agreeing with that. I'm not agreeing because it's just out of raw skill, and just battling on raw skill, Mario is going to lose all his battles, because that's not the reason why he wins. Bowser is always bigger than him. He always has to find some way to make himself stronger and more reliable. But the point is that he tries really hard. He thinks ways to do things. And when I'm saying that he's not particularly smart, you're going to tell me, but he's a doctor. No, not really. Miyamoto always say that he doesn't like Mario as a doctor because he doesn't see him as a doctor. And that's telling because Dr. Mario was actually created by Gunpei Yokoi team when Gunpei Yokoi was on Nintendo and he was alive. And the same thing, also Mario Land, the first Mario Land was created by Gunpei Yokoi and his team. So when Miyamoto says that he doesn't believe that that Dr. Mario is any legit, it's because he believes that Mario will never be able to get a degree which demands so many time. Is extremely time consuming being a doctor. In a way, I disagree with that, but I'm not the creator of Mario. And he say that he sees Mario more in things that he has to use his body and his mind, which I kind of agree in a way. He's a physical person, so he moves, and he does things that require moving. That's why he can be a constructor, that's why he can be a tennis player, that's why he can play golf, that's why he can say princess or being a plumber. He can do all those kind of things. But it's always collarbone jobs. And he tries really hard because his main antagonist is a giant turtle who can spare fire. His mom apparently was a bull. Hey, he's also bigger than Mario and has more resources. But there's a deep more resources. But Mario tries hard and overcomes everything because he tries hard. It's something also important that Mario has always had to be the Mario. The normal one, the one he have to be always in the middle, despite he's admired by his jumps in all the RPGs. Which is something that's kind of difficult to understand when you play Mario and Luigi, in which the only things you have are Mario and Luigi, so they have to be a difference between the two. Mario has to be a bit. Apparently, Mario's a bit faster than Luigi, because Luigi is a bit taller, but Luigi has more defense than Mario. Mario attack a bit more, so they got their abilities based more on their personalities. But this poster on Tumblr also point out that that they think that Mario is very kind, and that's something important too. Because Mario does everything that he does because he's a good person. He wants to help, and they want to be people's happy, which is a bit weird when you see him stomping so many Goombas. But he's having fun fighting Bowser's minions. And this is one of the reasons I love so much Super Paper Mario arc in Hell and Heaven, in the underwear and the over there, in which they talk about death and life like your games. So you can actually, the one-ups is not a thing that works only in video game. But in the world of Mario, one-up is actually a legit thing. So that mean that death in the Mario worlds is very cheap. So I guess Mario is having fun killing Goombas because he knows that one, they went to kill him, and two, they are going to come back anyway. So why not? And it's not like he never dies. Depend of the stage. But Super Paper Mario is not a really good game. And some people are going to kill me. Yeah, but it's better than a Sticker Star. No, it's not better than a Sticker Star. I actually like a lot of Sticker Star. But you don't have to think it as a Paper Mario game. You have to think it as a Metroidvania with stickers. And that kind of fixed it up a bit. And I understand why you won't like Sticker Star, by the way. Seriously, I do understand it. I also miss Bowser speaking. But you know what? It wasn't so much of a deal for me to have puzzles that I have to actually think a bit instead of going back, talk to the caveman and tell him, please, 5 times. And I have to write that, please. Yeah. So, story-wise, Super Paper Mario. But gameplay-wise, Sticker Star. Now, hopefully they're doing a more traditional Mario game right now. But I don't know how they're going to do that. The reason why they ditched the story is because when everybody answered the polls for Super Paper Mario, nobody say they liked the story. And the story is the best part of Super Paper Mario. So what the hell you like it about Super Paper Mario? The game is not that good. It run out of ideas very quickly. The story is the only thing that keep it going. In fact, there's a complete world that is meant absolutely nothing and it's saved for later. And I was reading the script because it's extremely funny, but it was about in the 25 Hammer Guy, and I was like, yeah, forget it. No, I don't want to know who the hell you are. I don't want to understand the reference for you. Sorry, Nintendo of America, you have to create this humorous thing. But I want to finish this thing. And eventually everything in Super Paper Mario became so tedious. So extremely tedious. Never happens to me in Sticker Star. Well, I do admit that I found Kamek the best part of the game because it was so sassy. I convinced that she's a she in Japan, when for some reason he's a he in United States. But you know what? So at least in Paper Jam he's going to speak. So people is going to be somewhat happy for that, I guess. I don't know. I don't think so. So Mario works really hard. And in the RPGs, you can find that he's very kind too. For instance, the one I remember the most is in Paper Mario Thousand Years Door, when he was told his identity from Duplies. Yeah, I kind of spoiled that part, but it doesn't matter. Because it really doesn't matter if you know the name. You have to do the quest anyway. So he found Vivian. I totally forgot her name. I'm sorry, Vivian. You know, the character that everybody on the internet is going to tell you and repeat you always. She's trans in Japan, and that's okay. It actually makes more sense when you think about it that her sisters were mad at her because she wasn't really a she, but she identified herself as a she. So what the hell do the sister have to do? But this is important. It's really incredible for that chapter of Thousand Year Door. That one of the things that makes Thousand Year Door excellent. That, for instance, you get Gumballa in the intro in her stories about discovering the thing and trusting you, and we have the little Yoshi when we are in Blissville, when it's all about becoming a tough guy, and the little Yoshi definitely has the personality of a tough guy. Vivian Capture is about identity issues. Mario has an identity issue because his identity was stolen by Duplies, and Vivian has an identity issue because the world doesn't want to recognize her identity. So yeah, it's a really awesome chapter for introduce Vivian. And Mario helps Vivian, despite he knows she's the enemy, and despite he knows that he has a problem. So it's like, oh my god, I have to get my body back before something happened to my people. And they can find, oh my god, she lost something. I'm going to help her. This is going to be short. I'll save everybody. I'll save my body later. So it's like he takes his own life less seriously than other people's life, and he likes to help. So it's, in a way, he's like Wonder. But he's not. But help people is not the important part about Mario. The fact that he has obstacles and defeats the impossible. So the fact that Mario works hard and he's very kind because he helps absolutely everybody in his way. And help everybody in his way, the best way to put you into a situation where you know the last part. So it's also tackles in the GUI part, in the user interface part. This is something I really like about Mario, and then also I really like about Team Fortress 2, that a lot of the story elements are not set up because somebody thought that those story elements will be interesting, but it's set up because of needing of the game you want to do. And that's something that happens when we are discovering how to tell stories or how to tell meaningful things with video games. Extra credits once in a while do things about meaningful things. The fact that you can put yourself into other people's shoes for understanding how they live. They put that in Race, in Rust, in which your race is completely randomized. So you can be a white guy, and you can be a white guy and play as a black guy, and you have no control over it. And some people actually try to do it, and suddenly they recall the N-word, which I can say because I'm also white. And they feel extremely awful because why are you doing that? What that completely so unkilled for? And suddenly, I'm doing the same thing. Okay. The problem with Mario is you can't do that with Mario because Mario is you. It's technically to be you. And you're the one working really hard and being super optimistic, and you can do things. But Mario is a character which exists from the beginning of video games, mostly. Almost the beginning of video games. 80s, when the video game industry was starting to be an actual thing. So if we have a character you can easily identify with, and you can put your own things into them, it's mostly because you can learn the tropes you can use in the games, which is most of video games from Nintendo are actually about. They don't have a really cool, really distinct characters. They are mostly stereotypes you can understand pretty quickly. Hell, Zelda is basically the hero's journey. Except they have an interesting twist. You get to be an adult when you get the Master Sword, and then you have the rest of your life, and you have to play a lot about the rest of your life. So yeah, Zelda is basically the hero journey. Every single time you have to control a new reincarnation of Link. But what actually... but Mario is not about that, it's about the journey. You don't have to complete stages which are fundamentally something that somebody told you. Because if you notice, Zelda is basically done in the style, in the way of Dungeons and Dragons. There's a reason why the dungeons are called dungeons. Or it's not, it's done in a very sequential way. You can barely break You sometimes have some shoes, some you can choose where to go. Mario 3 gave you the complete map already open, and you know where to go to where, and you can choose your path. Super Mario World decided to make the map part of the exploration. So if you try to break sequence and trying to find secret places, you're going to find secret places. But the problem I have with the map in Super Mario World compared to the map in Super Mario Bros. 3 is the fact that you don't know you can sequence break until you actually try. At least Super Mario Bros. 3 show you the stages. So if, for instance, if I didn't know, if nobody tell me that I can do in this stage, can find something else, so yeah, I can go there, I will never knew there's a stage in the middle of the lake. The only thing I knew, there's a ghost house I will not find. But in a way, there's some clues. There's the mirror forest, the illusion forest, which is actually called in Japanese the Lost Woods. Ah! Okay, it's called the Lost Woods. It's because if you don't sequence break, you're gonna stay going around in circles forever. That's why it's called the illusion forest of the Lost Woods. Probably this is the only moment that you are forced to sequence break. So some people were going to figure out that, hey, I can sequence break, and will start to try in every single stage where they can sequence break. And I don't know if I'll actually like that. I would like it to have more clues. No, like there you tell me, you can sequence break, but why if there's a stage you can get there? There's an alternative exit maybe in a Mario game. Maybe that could help. But so this is the main difference between the maps in Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3. One is for you to choose where to go, and the other is geared to our exploration, which those 2 point of views that, for me at least, in those games get pretty clear. I don't know what to do with the maps in Super Mario in the new Super Mario Brothers games, because this is the thing. I like the Super Mario Brothers games, but at the same time I don't feel that they are about exploration, or they really give you too much of a choose of what to do. And this is mostly because the new Super Mario Brothers games were done not because they wanted to make a throwback to the 2D games, but mostly because people believe that the 3D walls were too complex for a bunch of people. So they simplify a lot of things that were already somewhat complex in the 2D Mario games, in Brothers 3 and in World. And I can understand why they do that. There are certainly some things that you can get a bit simpler from 3 to new, and to World to new. But if you do something that you can only go left, right, and up, down, you don't get so much lost, really. So I think that they underestimated most of their audience doing simplifying the maps in the new series. This is in the new series, but find the equilibrium between too complex and too simple is difficult. And I think that in new Super Mario Bros. We actually found some middle ground. Still the maps are too linear for me. And this is something I could also complain from 3D World and 3D Land. They are way too linear on that map. I don't like too linear. And then 3D World, you got exactly the same path unless you have a bunch of stars, which is something else I don't like. I really wish that the stars just unlock additional content and not where for trying to actually get at the end of the game. I like the stamps though. The stamps were a very good thing they had. But yeah, I always like to compare Mario with Mickey Mouse because they are basically the same school of characters. Characters that are super easy to understand to the point that you are kind of bored. But at the same time, those characters aren't meant to be complex. They are meant to be simple, so you can take your time trying to figure out the tropes of their stories. And that's why those kind of characters work perfectly for preschool games or preschool animated series, because kids are learning just how to read the things they are watching, how to know how to interpret those stories. So is very good. This kind of character, this archetype is called the everyman, because it's supposed to be absolutely everybody. And he's not my favorite character at all, but I understand what I kind of like them. I also always like the characters nobody likes. I don't know, everybody liked Chin because he was funny, and I'm like, no. I mean, yeah, he's funny. I love him, but no, I don't find him the best character in Jimmy Neutron. And he was actually very, very popular. He got his spin-off, which I didn't watch for some reason. Yeah, I'm going to watch it someday. I don't know, Planet Chain. It's a good thing. He's a Latino character. So, yep. But most of the time, I always, for some reason, identify, or I always like the Strayman, or the Strayman, or the guy the guy who actually succeed. And probably because it's something aspirational, because this is why Chuck Jones defined Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. That Daffy Duck was who we are, and Bugs was who we wanted to be. So I guess I'm trying to be aspirational with the characters I like. So I guess that's the reason I like Mario, at least better than Luigi. It's because he actually does stuff. But if you think, how are you going to like a guy who doesn't have any struggles? And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not like he doesn't have any struggles. He has all the struggles I do have. Because I'm playing with him and I'm telling his story. So, yeah, he has the same struggles I do have. The same struggle that you have, and the same struggle that the completionist had. All the same struggles, people. It's not like I'm saying that he's an interesting character, by the way. Everymans are not interesting. They are by default not interesting, because the idea is the fact that you understand them pretty quickly. And by understand them pretty quickly, you can understand how the story is told. So, some people want Mario to be a bit more complex, and I'm here thinking, yeah, but Mario is a kid character. This thing is for kids. And yeah, you can say, kids can handle complex stuff, or else how Gravity Falls is getting more popular, or Steven Universe. And I'm here thinking, yeah, but they're telling stories which are for kids. I don't know how many of you have to save a princess. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people who want more characterization for Mario, but but Mario has enough characterization for what he has to do. And Luigi has enough characterization for what he has to do. And almost all the characters in the series have characterization based on their history. Bowser wants to kidnap the princess, and he gets pretty upset when somebody beat him to the punch. That is because he has been kidnapping her a lot. Peach gets frustrated because she was kidnapped again. She's not even scared anymore. She gets frustrated. Holy crap. Luigi is somewhat jealous of what Mario does because he's just a player too. I can get into that. But it's still, you missing the point that Mario is not supposed to be a character. He's supposed to be you. And that's why he has so little characterization and why he doesn't speak. Why he's an everman. But at the same time, Miyamoto says that Mario is a little guy who works really hard. And that's probably because of you. Because Mario is meant to be you, that Mario is a little guy who works really hard. Remember, you have been playing these games when you were a kid, and you're still enjoying it because it's you working really hard to beat something. And that kind of also happens a lot with life. It's like saying that if you work really hard and you work in what you are good at, you're gonna get better at it, and you're going to pass your struggles, which at the end is life, which at the end is the hero story. The fact that you have to beat something. Of course, there's the video game component. Say the princess is merely because you know what to do, but you never know what to do. You only know what you have to overcome. And this is funny. This is extremely funny. The fact that the Mario have to save the princess, he has absolutely no problems on having the princess doing more things. Hey, we need a new driver. Okay, use the princess. Hey, we need a girl character for this. Okay, use the princess. Hey, we need more girl character for this. Okay, do not add him evil version of her. That kind of misogynistic if you think about it, but at the same time it's Japan, so I'm not going to complain about that. I can look at kind of misogynistic from a point of view of Western, but we're talking about Japan. I'm not gonna talk about Japan. They have different things, and the Japanese feminists know better than me whatever to do. But it's a bit uncomfortable for me that the reason that Peach is the girl, Peach only main characteristic is mostly because that she's the girl. But at the same time, I'm not going to complain because at least there's a girl. And she, despite being pure of heart and being unable to have a bad guy side, she's a very capable woman. She's a very capable person. She can do whatever the hell she wants to do, except rescue herself, which is something which is also fine. because you shouldn't be able to always solve all your problems by yourself. And this is the good thing I found about Peach that make me somewhat happy. That the fact that she can be as resourceful as she is, but needing help anyway. And the same thing happened with Mario. Because he gets kidnapped once in a while, and somebody have to step on the hero's shoes to help him. Usually it's Luigi. Sometimes happen with Peach. But considering that Mario is we're talking in commedia dell'arte terms, Mario is the hero. So Mario is the hero, Peach is the damsel in distress, Luigi is the second banana. They have to stay in their characters because that's the only thing that they do. But the fact that there's no problem to make Mario the distressed dude, which is extremely simple for absolutely every game to make him the distressed dude. He's like, okay, I get kidnapped. Okay, help me. That's something which speak volumes to me. Wait me.
Compañera, con todo respeto.
No se preocupe. Aquí está.
Muchas gracias, que Dios la bendiga mucho.
I've tried to be a good person. So I'm saying, we have Mario, which is practically the most resourceful character in the planet. We can do absolutely everything, even if his creator believed that he shouldn't be able to do some things, and he need help anyway. That's big volumes. Like, it's super easy for him to need help. He always need help on anything. He's the hero, but he's not unbeatable. He's the hero, but he sometimes needs help. And he's the hero, but he always steps to smell the flowers. Which, going to the point that despite that you are the most resourceful person in the planet, that doesn't mean you're not going to need help once in a while, and that doesn't mean you doesn't have to ask for help. Never. You have to trust the people that you usually help, because they are your friend, they are your family. So I really like the fact that Mario can become this stressed dude easily. He got been kidnapped more times than Luigi has been kidnapped. Luigi almost had never need help in his life, less than Mario. And Mario, because not just despite, but because he's a hero, he sometimes needs help. I get it. In a way, speak volumes for me. The same thing with Peach, but in backwards. Despite that she needs help, she's actually very resourceful, and she can kick ass when you let him kick ass. So being kidnapped and being resourceful at the same time are not mutually exclusive. They are sometimes hand in hand, because you see her kicking ass in Smash, and you're asking why you don't do that with Bowser. I don't know. There's this guy, the game theorist, that I like some of their videos until they are starting to get too clickbaity. When they point out that actually Peach should like to get kidnapped, and I'm saying bullshit. I like to see those videos because they're so hyperbolic that I want to scream sometimes. But in certain moment I believe, oh my, he's getting too hyperbolic. I know this is just for present us with some themes. But originally game theory was about that. It wasn't about really game theory, but trying to teach basic things using hyperbolic. Then it started to actually get hyperbolic. So they have these videos about how Mario is a psychopath, or how Peach like to get kidnapped. Usually those experiments always end with Peach and Mario being extremely dark characters. He also has that Rosalina is probably Luigi's daughter and not Mario's. But yeah, that theory that Rosalina is Peach and Mario's daughter, and what she had to have happened, she reset the time. So every time we have a new Mario game, it's not like Mario, it's not like Peach got kidnapped for nth time. It was because this is a new reset and they're starting the wall again. I found that so interesting because it does like an awesome theory that could explain why some things keep themselves somewhat consistent, like Peach Castle, and why other things do not stay that consistent, like Bowser's Castle. Apparently Bowser's Castle is starting to get a bit more consistent, with spiky shell over the place, but not really that consistent Smash. At least not compared with Peach Castle, which has stayed the same since Super Mario 64. I liked that theory. Then he started to tear it apart because he needed to make more content, which is okay. It's okay. He needs to leave. That's his life. It's been actually his life. So I like Mario. I like the world because I found it so interesting. What I don't like is the fact that they don't try to iterate over the same thing too much. And that's the thing that I don't like that much. Because they have a pretty awesome world. They haven't built for specifically for work in a video game world. It doesn't make any sense anyone else. And I love that because I love when constraints about something define what the story is about. When constraints about the people constrain on what you have to do define certain elements, because that means that you actually using your creativity, because creativity is mostly for solve problems, not for create things you want to do. So when somebody tells us this is constraining my creativity, I call bullshit to that. That's bull. That's stupid. Well, be more creative then. But yeah, whatever, anyone can say that. Then, but when you create a story based mostly on take advantage of your constraints, and the Mario world is well created for take advantage of their constraints, and they relish in their constraints, in the fact that the characters have to look a certain way, so you know how to defeat them when you look at them. You know what to do, but you doesn't know how to do it. That's the difference. And yeah, that's the main thing I have about this thing, is the fact that I love the worlds like that, worlds that were created from the constraints, auto-imposed constraints or actual constraints. Team Fortress 2 also had that, but are mostly on them. Well, we can talk about Team Fortress 2 eventually. I have to. So the Mario universe is created from the point of view of their constraints. It's created from trying to tell the story of a little guy who work really hard and try too many times to defeat a monster and save the day. So everybody will tell you that the Mario games aren't about the story. I'm pretty sure they don't know what they're talking about. Because yeah, maybe it's not about the save the princess, but it's about your struggle to get there. And stories are never about their end result, they're about the journey. They're always about the journey. So I'm gonna buy I don't know exactly, but Mario is just the kind of guy who represents us, all of us, but at the same time the kind of guy we want to be. And this is kind of difficult to understand because he's not really that smart. He doesn't stop saying the easy way, but he does. He eventually does. No matter how many lives you have done, how many times you have to do some things, he finds the way to do what he decided to do. And that's what we always want to be. We want to be the people, the person who decide something and they don't, and they didn't. But the difference between Mario and other characters when we want to be is the fact that Mario is also is characterized for the struggle to get there. Mario is not a hard worker just because Miyamoto decided he was a hard worker. He's a hard worker because you need to work for the game. You need to make an effort to trying to pass the stages. So that's why he's a hard worker. Because it's an effort we do. I was trying to get in a conclusion because I don't really like to get into an extreme consciousness if we don't get to until that an actual conclusion. I really want to get to some final words because I'm about to park. And maybe those final words are just that I like characters, and it's probably gonna be around me mostly. I like characters not because of what they do, what they're actually happening to them, but of what they are doing for what exactly happened to them. In Mario's case, it's just a character who does. We don't know why he does. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what he thinks or what he feels even. What only matters about Mario is the fact that he's doing the thing. And he's working really hard on doing the thing. And he's going to do the thing. And maybe we should see Mario from that point of view. He's a nice person. He helps everybody because he needs something to do mostly. But the fact that he's a guy with average in absolutely everything and still is the most famous video game character in the universe, this should tell us that at the end what Mario gave us, it feel like we actually accomplished something. And maybe what he tell us is that we can accomplish things in our lives. So maybe that's playing what I like the characters nobody likes. Because I like them because for the things they do for themselves and for everybody else. Meanwhile, some other people actually like them because they can look, they can think, and how they got there. And I'm thinking, I don't know, but where are they going?